Okay, everyone, it's 10 a.m. So if you could please take out your cell phones and silence them, please. That would be a big help. There's plenty of food and drinks, so if you haven't visited the table up front, please feel free to do so during the presentation. That was part of the strategy, by the way. I didn't know I had such a big fan club, so thank you all for attending. The overall goal here is to increase resident satisfaction by creating an action plan in response to the Holleran survey that was done last summer. In September, Holleran gave us a full report, if you remember, on the findings with metrics and analytics and your responses. So we looked deep into those comments, and your voice was very much heard, I can tell you that. We're going to identify key themes today that were taken as a result of the survey to improve the quality of life for you all. That is the goal. And over the next few months, you're going to see some changes that have been made. We're going to have measurable results with accountability and transparency. So hold your questions till the very end. I can tell you that there were pages and pages of comments. This wasn't an easy task to go through. There were a lot of one-offs, but we tried to formulate themes that would be meaningful going forward. So bear with me in this journey. Tough start. So first, let's talk about our areas of strength that were reported, and we were very proud of these. In 2019, we had the analytics already from Holleran in place. So in 2025, you can see measurable differences that showed signs of trust and confidence that were reported. Also, these four areas, they're incredible if you really think about it. Our medical team is attentive, caring, compassionate, every day, and truly take care of our residents in so many ways. Facilities has made strides. If you remember where we were back several years ago, James, is he here? He has done an incredible job with work orders, the program, the system that he has in place for quality assurance, and I can only give accolades to he and his team for that. Security also took a lot of compliments on the report. I know the reassurance that you all have with a 24/7 operation and the team that Eric has goes a long way. I know their presence is felt throughout the community. You can get a tire changed almost, get your batteries charged in your vehicle, or find lost keys. So there were lots of compliments in that area. Also, with our internal and external transportation team, I think we've done an incredible job in shuttling you here and there within the community, but also all around San Antonio. We have an incredible and dedicated team in that area, and they've done a terrific job. So thank you, Lori, for upholding all of that. So then, of course, we have many areas of opportunity. Actually, we have 7 areas that were truly the focus, that were reported over and over as themes throughout the comments that you all provided. One was, of course, your overall dining experience, the variety of menu selections that we have at our 3 venues, wait staff training, transparency overall with residents, responsiveness to inquiries, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Community fund management was a big ticket item, and keeping you all informed every day of what's going on, both internally, externally, in many departments and in many areas. From 2019, however, to 2025, you can see that the metric diminished just marginally, and that's what we're going to be focusing on and have on our radar. If you can look at the quality of dining experience, the reason that there is not a metric in 2025, it's because that particular question was not asked in 2025. So that's the reason for the hyphen there. There were many comments regarding these areas, and I can tell you in depth. And your voice was heard in these areas. So these are going to be some of the areas that we focused on to obtain objectives to move forward. So what we created was a dashboard that we could use going forward in our coming months to track and trend our accomplishments, our challenges, the hiccups that we may encounter with a 90, 120, and 180 day time frame. So there will be measurable metrics. And you can see the legend of the red, yellow, green. That is in alignment with our strategic plan committees. Our 5 committees that we have in place, that's the system that we currently use. So that we thought it would be appropriate to use it for our accomplishments and progress as we go along with our objectives. So the themes that we had in place, there were 7 of them from the previous slide. We combined them into 4 areas that we will truly focus on and be on our radar going forward. And they are the dining experience that you have every day, communication as a whole, continuous improvement and accountability, which is overarching, and then financial transparency. So the first objective is communication. And under communication, I hope you all can read this very well. And by the way, this will be on the portal and as well in the library, if you'd like to look at it afterwards. And this also is being videoed, so you'll also be able to view it on the portal and channel 1890 later. So taking the deep dive into communication, the reason that the first block is yellow is because we are doing our presentations now on the portal. There's an extra tab that you can find them. It's an easy tab if you do look on the portal. So we felt as though we were yellow. We provide communication in a resident update, the hallway monitors, if you will, on easels, hard copy handouts, trying to saturate literally every venue in the community so that you're aware and informed of what's going on on a daily basis. The next one is the C-suite. Will be available by requested appointments. If you'd like to make an appointment, please call either Gordon, Steve, or myself. We'll be happy to sit down personally with you and have a discussion with whatever topic you want. Also, we're going to be doing a rotation going forward, and this is going to be during all activities and events. You'll be seeing one of us show up randomly at just various activities and events, just to make sure everything's going right and to get your feedback on the activity and event that you're attending. Quarterly financial information sessions will be held. Gordon will spearhead these. I will also be part of 2 of those with him to update you on the progress of these action plans. So this is not going away. You will find information going forward on how we're doing, maybe some of the challenges that we're facing, and maybe they're read at some point. Also, there'll be an annual budget overview, as always summarizing revenue, capital expenditures, improvements going forward. And our hope is to provide those in a simplified way so that you can clearly understand how your money is being spent. And then, of course, a review of expenses or revenue issues, variances during the fiscal year. That will be provided as well. What we want to do is strengthen resident committees as well. We have 2 committees right now, White Glove and the Safety Assessment Committee, that will be reaching out to residents to participate on those, to open up the line of communication. But for the most part, all committees have resident participation at this point, along with staff, so that there's information that's being disseminated, and hopefully if you participate on one of those committees, you're part of that dissemination process. So other ways for you to provide feedback is always on a comment card, in person, written through an email, or digital. Your feedback is important, and I'm going to stress that during this presentation. All the department directors want to hear from you. If something's going on, we'd love to know in advance instead of being blindsided. But in saying that, we would really appreciate your input. You know, what you say truly does matter. So the next one is continuous improvement and accountability. And you may see some repetition through some of these four objectives, but we did that for a reason. We want to make sure that these areas are underscored and not forgotten in any way. Once again, these were valuable insights that we received from your feedback directly. Some of these initiatives have already begun. As you can see that one area is green on the screen, while others are going to take some time to do. Some of these processes are going to take a long time to implement because training's involved with some of the bigger departments, and there's a lot of staff that work 24/7. One area, though, that you can see that is green, though, was the transition of cleanscapes to facilities. That's already taken place. I think it was a very streamlined transition. James has done an incredible job with Mario, and everything seems to be working well as far as communication in that regard. So thank you, James, for that as well. One of the big things on the survey was a direct and a quick response regarding some of your concerns, maybe issues that you're just bringing up. And we wanted to do a timely response time, which we feel within 48 hours is a sufficient time frame to respond to your calls on the phone, your emails, etc. So that was something that we've put in place because that was something that you felt wasn't taking place last year. Also, holding more town halls with Q&A forums, of course, with various departments. The director dialogues will continue next year. They've already been scheduled, and we've already heard your voice in that you know who we are at this point. The personal information that we've shared, unless you're a very new resident, you know who we are. You know if we have dogs and cats and we take trips. So now it's going to be more about the department process and procedures, the challenges that they're facing maybe, or maybe a lot of their accomplishments that they've made during the past year as well. So it'll be more focused on those areas, along with a question and answer session. And then we want to establish protocol for phone etiquette and Relias training. Our Relias training is set up by our HR department, and it's very extensive, and it has overarching training for all of our staff with the aging process, with administrative duties, etc., but some are keyed specifically and pertinent to various departments. And Stephanie does an incredible job in managing that for all of us, and that will be on our radar to complete. Also, aging trends with service. A lot of our staff didn't come from senior living opportunities in the past. They came from various other industries. So we're trying to continue to immerse them with ongoing training, and that was evident in the survey as well. You felt that some areas, some departments needed more training in that regard. So that is one of our objectives to complete this year. Also, the CPR and Heimlich method is being required for all managers, supervisors, and directors at the ARC. And I want to compliment resident services and security. That department has fully trained their entire department on the Heimlich and CPR at this point. So dining. Food is always a very contentious issue, no matter what facility you're in. It was clear during the Holleran survey that the representative made mention that it appears in every single community. Ours, of course, was not exempt. So, in some areas, we're already green. And by that, one of the requests was to put our registered dietitian, Arlie, onto the Dining Services Committee, and also Carrie, who is our Life Enrichment Manager. to help provide feedback and input, add resources and research that they come through, that they encounter during their studies that could be an asset to the committee as a whole. So we're already doing that. That committee is already getting their shared thoughts and expertise, and I applaud both Carrie and Arlie for standing on that committee. Also, one of the key points in dining was training for the staff. That was mentioned over and over again by you all. And that is certainly now ongoing. There is protocol by Morrison in different facets and areas that Occam has already started. And I can tell you, it's being checked by supervisors and managers. The in-services have to be completed and signed off with the time frame. So that is in place now. Quality assurance on the line. We've heard about inconsistency. It was another area that you mentioned repeatedly in your comments, that sometimes someone might get a very small piece of chicken fried steak, others get the entire platter. It's covered. So we want to make sure that someone is reviewing and looking at every single plate before it's delivered to you for consistency purposes. And that's a stretch. We're working hard on that, and it's all about training once again. If you can remember, Colonel Huebner was very instrumental, along with Anna, and started the healthcare roundtable. We had lots of positive results from that, and the feedback was incredible in a complimentary way. So one of the ideas for the dining was to initiate a culinary roundtable. And that way we can bring experts in from the private sector, Morrison representatives, our own staff and management, and as well as residents to provide feedback on how we're doing, how we can provide a better quality dining experience for you all in every single venue that we offer here. And then a scorecard was developed to provide your feedback on a daily experience, and this is going to be available right now on the portal and in the library, so you can actually see other residents' feedback as well. Today, you may have lunch in the Bluebonnet and not feel as though your meal was up to par and express your feedback. Well, your neighbor may feel differently and express something different. You'll be able to see your feedback as well as others in the community and what they're saying about their experience. It'll be a very, very transparent collection of input from you all. So some of the things that we're working on that isn't mentioned on this slide is that you requested more healthy options, for instance, and a better rotating menu. It's being worked on right now. There's an ad hoc committee to the Dining Services Committee that's comprised of only residents. And they are offering recipes to Occam and his team, to DC, so that we can vary that menu selection going forward. Also, the training, as I mentioned, has already been introduced, and that's been jump-started, but that will be ongoing. There's no end date to that. So be patient, have some understanding. We do have some new staff in this area, but hopefully the training that we have put in place at this point, you'll be able to see a change and a difference. That's the goal. We've already exercised no reservations in the Bluebonnet. How's that working? Okay. Hopefully each of you appreciate that no reservation system, and we'll continue with that. We have a rotating Saturday buffet right now. Hopefully that's going well, but if you feel as though it's not, once again, the opportunity is to provide your feedback on that. Your voice counts. And we do offer an earlier breakfast on Sunday prior to the Sunday buffet, which some residents do take part of because they don't like buffets. So please remember that that is available prior to that Sunday buffet. And then, of course, one of the big elephants in the room is to consider moving that Sunday brunch back over here to Crestway. We heard that over and over in the comments, so I'm being transparent. That will not go away. That'll be a consideration. We'll have to work logistics and see how we can move forward with that. Financial transparency. This was another big one, of course. It was one of the many themes throughout the comments, but now an objective going forward. The upcoming presentations that Gordon will provide will show annual adjustments that need to be made with key cost drivers to include labor cost, inflation, food cost, insurance, regulatory requirements. But he will do it in a very simplified way. I think the eligibility town hall went very well. It was done in such a simplified way. Terry, Steve, and Gordon provided information that was easy to understand, and I think we heard so many compliments about that it was an easy read versus an Excel spreadsheet with lots and lots of numbers, hard to understand for just the layperson in the audience. So we'll do our best on that. We're also going to open up biannual sessions with residents on ancillary cost and community funds, how they're being used. MX360 was a big upgrade that was recently done. It's our software platform for the entire organization, basically, but finance took a big upgrade in that area. And hopefully that will improve things as well for you, the resident. Also, communication in finance. We're looking to improve that. Kelly was a big move over to finance. She does answer the phone and she responds well. I think many of you really like Kelly, and she's done a terrific job. So thank you, Gordon, for snatching her from the front desk. Gordon still owes me for that favor. But in September and March, Gordon will give you town hall updates regarding all things finance. And then I will be partnering with Gordon in two sessions during the course of the year to give you updates basically on these objectives going forward. This appears to be a very simple process once again, but I can tell you it was not simple. After looking and reviewing pages and pages, trying to formulate ideas that would have a direct impact and a positive outcome for our service delivery here in the organization. So, clear priorities and timelines. Those are the two main focal points that I think are key takeaways from this presentation. We want to improve your daily experience in dining. We heard so many comments that we didn't want to hear, but we took them to heart, and we have initiatives in place to address them, and they too have timelines. The next town hall will be in 6 months, so I will be able to report on that dashboard where we are, whether it's red, yellow, or green in various areas. I did want to make mention, though, of some of the improvements that we've made along the way, and I think they're pretty notable ones. And these should elevate resident satisfaction and trust and confidence that you have in our leadership team through our measurable actions. And basically, you know what we experience with hot water in the high-rise. We have that fixed. The HVAC system is working well. We have new chillers. We have a new fire suppression system and a new fire alarm system at the front desk, which was very necessary. Ours was very antiquated at the time. We have new wiring throughout this whole building. Do you remember the spaghetti wiring that we had throughout the hallways hanging down? All of that has been systematically labeled, and for future generations, they'll know what each wire is. What an improvement. We have a new generator for emergency backup, and that was huge. That was really huge. But again, I want to make mention that, and we're at 90% occupancy. Congratulations. That's been a feat that we have not seen for a really, really long time. But again, I want to reassure you, it's all about trust and confidence in the leadership team. I know that each one of the departmental directors are working hard. They are an incredible team to work with. I've never worked with a better team. Each one of them brings talent and expertise to the organization, and I can tell you that they work hard. I do want to leave you, though, with a quote, and I can't take the credit for it. It's by Simon Sinek, but it's one credit that I personally live by. Leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in our charge. It's always a privilege and honor to serve you every day. I have an open door policy. Please, if you have questions, concerns, comments about any of this today, please feel welcome always to come to my office and vent, share your compliments, or just share feedback in general. This concludes my presentation. Subject to any questions? Mrs. Lees or Denny?
Yes, thank you. Is it on? Yeah. I was wondering if on one of those charts about providing food on Sunday evening, is that something you're going to look at?
That is a yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The question, of course, was Sunday evening. We realize that everything closes down at 4 p.m. We understand that. And some of you have come in and come off of late flights and need something to eat. So that is definitely something that we're looking into, for sure. Doctor?
This sounds like I should be doing this as a work order or something, but I can't do it because I can't log on to the portal. In conversations with tech, this seems to be a problem that has just recently occurred. There is some sort of a development that I can't explain. I don't know that, but the log-on process and the use of the portal for a number of people is inadequate right now. I'm sure it's being worked on. I just bring it to your attention.
Yes, thank you so much. The portal is being worked on. We're getting as many residents assisted with IT and the computer club in trying to get a log on and get it permanent so you don't have this hiccup in the future.
Debbie, what is the two things that were on slides? What is White Glove? You mentioned.
White Glove is a committee that I established years ago, and basically it's for a seamless transition for residents moving into the community so that they don't have an ice maker that doesn't work or light sockets that doesn't have the plate on. But it's an ongoing committee comprised of managers, supervisors, and directors in each department that basically come together and collaborate to make sure that any process within the ARC is streamlined. And that's going to be one of the committees that we're going to invite residents on, because to this date, it's only staff.
Next question. What is C-Suite?
C-Suite is composed of the CEO, Steve, CFO, Gordon, and COO, myself. Anybody else have any questions? Ms. Taylor?
Debbie, I wanted to thank you for the report. I think you mentioned trust, and in order to have trust, I know you said you would be following through on these suggestions for the action plan. The other thing was specifically the Heimlich maneuver. I noticed dining services, there was no one from dining services in case that's where you're going to have people choking. I
Yes.
know I've experienced one person, and then someone else mentioned two people. And if the dining staff or at least one supervisor on duty at all times
Yes.
has experience.
Agreed.
Just a suggestion.
Agreed. Yes, they're on the list.
Thank you again for the report.
You're welcome. Colonel?
Yeah, hi, Debbie.
Hi.
I would like to make a suggestion for what I think is a standard business process. If a staff member is going to be out of the office for a day and there's no one else answering their phone or answering their email, they should leave an out-of-office message on their phone as well as their email. And I say this from a very specific problem I've experienced over the past 2 weeks, and I think this should be something that everybody should do.
Okay, point noted. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you so much for attending today. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Ms. Steele, I'm sorry.
I have a question going back to food services. So much of what we experience here sounds good for the future. However, we are under contract to Morrison. How is this going to be worked out? Because I know some of the things that happen now are Morrison generated, and it doesn't matter what we think, Morrison's going to continue to do it. So how is that relationship going to be worked out for what's going on with improving dining services?
We are the customer. Morrison is the contractor. So your feedback is important. We can tweak and change processes and procedures, and we're the customer.
As the customer, I know that I and many people here would like to know that we are having healthy food. We're senior citizens. We need healthy food. That's an important part of our day. And I don't like to do gossip, so I'll tell you something I know for a fact. Cooking, canola oil is used by Morrison in our kitchens. That is not a strong contender for the healthy list.
We're looking into that, Ms. Steele. That's one of the areas we're looking into. Thank you. You're welcome. Anyone else? Thank you once again for attending. Please continue to offer feedback. I appreciate your suggestions, and I appreciate you all. Thank you again. Thank you. Thanks to you. Thank you.